She Says So, brought to you by S&S Passat Supermarket and thebesttoys.com.
She's unstoppable. She's got the power to break the chains and make it louder. She says so.
Welcome, Trinidad and Tobago. We are continuing our conversations with women. She says so. Women who are shifting the norms of what we're accustomed to. They are definitely walking their own path. So what can I say? Creating their own path. They are talking the talk, walking the walk, and they're doing so according to their own rules. Well, Joanna Rostand, she had 20 years experience in the energy sector. BG, Slumberjay, most people thought that she would have gone to the heights of the heights. But in the end, she decided after 20 years, I'm going to leave this nice office job. Well, I may not stereotype because she did go out in the field and she could tell us a little bit about that, to be an entrepreneur. With the cost of doing business in Trinidad and Tobago, our competitive index, and everything else that everyone warns you about as an entrepreneur, she decided this is what I want to do. Ye Entertainment is her baby, her brand. She did all of this while being a mother of three, a wife, a new businesswoman, forging a new path. Joanna, how are you?
Great, thank you.
Now, congratulations. I don't think many people would leave the comfort of their ascending jobs knowing that their career path is set, because you did have a pretty set path, to say, I'm going to do it all over. I just have to start. What inspired you there? Let's start the story there and then we'll go back.
What inspired me? The energy sector is an energetic place. It's full of it's a fantastic place to live and work. And having spent many years there in a very high performing environment at just about the age of maybe just before 40, I decided it was time to take the skills I learned and make them my own. Professionally, I was, second in BG, knew all about the industry, had a great time, but Trinidad's gas production was starting to decrease. And without gas and energy, it's very difficult to have an exciting job. And I thought, the terms, the government, the climate was not moving in the right direction for that. And I started to get a bit despondent. Coupled with that, I have 3 boys. My oldest was 14 at the time. He was going to Fatima, and I found him starting to derail a bit. I mean, I wouldn't say really badly, but moving in a direction that I wasn't happy as a mom. My husband at the time was a pilot. So between my business trips, which were endless, and his flying, we weren't in the home for very much. And I thought it was time to make a switch for the family, make a switch for our life, make a switch for our children. And
did you feel it was a sacrifice?
Oh yeah, it's a total sacrifice.
Were you bitter about it? And maybe I should ask it more, because every woman, like myself included, when you make decisions, as when you spoke about your son, and I could say I think about my son now, and every decision, every interview I have, is this something that will allow me to create the life I want for him? Because it's a give and take. And I know for a little while there probably was a little bit of resentment or anger that I felt. Did you feel it?
I wouldn't say a resentment and anger. It was a huge sacrifice. Working for a phenomenal company like BG at very senior levels is in many ways very easy. Something wrong with your car, you tingle your keys and they take your car away and they bring you back a replacement and your car is fixed. When you work for yourself, there's no such support.
There's no tingling. There's no car.
There's no tingling. So yes, sacrifices financially, but I would say the biggest sacrifice for me was the shift in my professional identity. And that's what I took for granted when I left the corporate world. Because I worked in the corporate world for 17 years. I grew up, from my mid-20s in this phenomenal company. I had 400 members of staff who thought I was amazing. I did amazing projects. I worked with incredibly bright people that clearly was a big part of my professional identity, which I did not value, or I did not put a value to. So when I left, all of a sudden, that was completely removed. And I was just a mom. And that shift was personally extremely hard for me.
How did you cope with it?
It's a funny story, right? So I would say I mean, I'm not I can't say I'm a sort of depressive person, but I would say I slipped into what I would have called a bit of a depression, with kind of self-worth on the line. Who was I? Was I really any good?
Yeah.
I mean, was I really any good, or were they just propping me up? You know, who am I, and you know, what the hell am I going to do? And funnily enough, life throws you opportunities when you least expect it. And a friend called me up and said, "Are you busy?" So I said, "No, not really. I have this project I'm working on. I want you to come and help me with." And it's a group called Project Care. And if you look at if you search us on the internet, we are a non-for-profit organization that redevelops, builds schools mostly in Trinidad. So every year we do this huge charity project, value plus of $1 million, where we go into schools that are really dilapidated and we strip them and we put them together. It's kind of like those home improvement shows you see on TV in 4 days. But what we do is a complete transformation. And he called me and he said, "I have this project I want you to work on." So I said, "All right, great, sounds good." And it was about 3 weeks later. And I just found myself back in an organization, which was not a corporation,
Right.
but I was back in an organization where people just loved what I did. And what I did drove such value to such an important part of society, the children and education. And that single-handed charity project built me back.
Okay. From that, did you have a job offer? Did you have an idea that you were going to do Chuck E. Cheese at the time of leaving BG?
Yes. We had bought the franchise
Okay.
4 months before. I did not anticipate it'd be my full-time job. I thought I'd consult a bit and I'd do this a bit. I didn't appreciate how much time and effort it takes to run your own company, clearly.
Dope.
So it was a huge, awakening for me.
I know we take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about being an entrepreneur, and then in the midst of taking off, COVID and lockdowns happened. How do we survive that? Stay with us.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, and bathtubs. Visit us in store at first floor Movingtown Port of Spain, Forces flagship MacBean, Eastgate Mall, Trin City, or shop online now. And remember, we have the best for your baby at the best prices.
SNS Passage Supermarket comes to St. Mary's Freeport. With the wide aisles of variety, quality you can trust, a community hub, and loyalty rewards. When I say they have everything, they have everything from your fresh produce, your wines and spirits, your butcher meat, seafood, bakery, you name it, they have it. And with these prices, trust me, you're guaranteed to save some money in your pocket. So come on down and shop today at the brand new SNS Passage Supermarket, St. Mary's Freeport.
Are you looking for a customizable studio space with green and widescreen cyclorama and professional production equipment to carry out your next big project? SGP Studios is the perfect fit for you. TNT's largest studio space with an overhead lighting grid and sound treated, perfect for television commercials, music videos, television programs, social media content, and film productions. We also have a wide range of production equipment available for rental. You can choose from a selection of Netflix approved cameras, modern lighting equipment, professional audio gear, 40-foot and 20-foot cranes, gimbals, drones, lenses, action cameras, and more, all at competitive prices. Whether you need a high-end cinema camera for a feature film shoot, specialized lighting equipment for a music video, or audio gear for a podcast, we've got you covered. And with our easy online booking system, you can reserve the gear you need in just a few clicks. Check us out online at sgpstudios.com.
She's unstoppable. She's got the power.
She says so. We continue our conversations with women who really are using their platforms to inspire change. Joanna Rostand, Ye Entertainment. She spoke about exiting the career in energy, how one NGO or project decided to reinstill hope, no pun intended there, but also her deep dive into entrepreneurship. 5-6 years into building your business, and Chuck E. Cheese is taking off. Everybody now knows this. Everybody wants to go. They're all having their events there. COVID happens. How, as you know, this is something, you know, as you talk about the energy sector, you have 400 people under you. Everybody would be on finding a solution, but you had to find the solution.
Yeah, it was the toughest time in my life, I would say. But I mean, let's just be real. Overall, entrepreneurship is a difficult road to take. It's not easy. The bumps belong to you. You can't push them to anyone else. The checkbook is your boss.
Yeah.
It's a tough world, but you know, COVID came along, and talk about the perfect storm, because COVID, to fight COVID, you had to separate people. We all had to stay in our homes. Children weren't in school. Everyone wore masks. 6 feet apart in a line. Chuck E. Cheese is the coming together of people. It was the worst thing that could have happened for our business, was COVID. We were the opposite of what COVID was required to solve COVID. We were the opposite. So it was an extremely long and tiring and tedious and soul-searching 2 years. We were closed for almost 2 years, 500 days without revenue, without a dollar.
Every day you look at that, you talk about the checkbook being yours, the checkbook being your boss, your accountant, your everything. Did at any point you feel as though I'm going to close this down?
Yeah, I mean, there came a point when I would have had to close it down because the account started to become empty. Because at the end of the day, there are costs that you cannot get rid of. You can't get rid of in your insurance. You can't get rid of the basic power to keep some of your machines up. You can get rid of many costs. You can't get rid of all your staff. How do I tell them that I can't pay them for 2 years? I can't, right? They're dependent on me for their life. So there are many costs that we could not get rid of. You know, my grandmother, who is now 102, who has been through many wars and whatnot, said to me, don't worry, this too will pass. And as difficult as COVID was at the time, and the many tears I cried, and the many times I scratched my head thinking, how are we going to survive? In the end, and now that I'm out of it, COVID, I'm a shudder to say, may have been a good thing for me. I mean, it really made me take a different look at our business. It made me clean up our profits. We had too expensive contracts. We were too inefficient. We were doing things that probably weren't at the core of our business. We needed to look carefully at what was driving people to Chuck E. Cheese and really drive that value to them.
Right.
And drive that, not only value, because Chuck E. Cheese is an experience. We don't sell games, we don't sell pizza,
Right.
we don't sell birthday parties, we sell smiles.
Yeah.
So what does it take to really create value in the smile of a child, or the smile of a granny, or the smile of a father? That's what COVID made me dig very deep into. And I think coming out of COVID, we have a very different business. You now had to create an entertainment what was now for the post-COVID child, which is different to a pre-COVID child. And so what was that? We had to enhance our birthday packages. We had to change many of our games. We had to create, well, for me, we had to create a physical element of play, because I thought these children through COVID were stuck in homes.
Right.
And so they need to be physical. So we are introducing trampolines into our stores soon. We had to, the new store I built in Westmore has a teen section.
Yes.
Which is very different to a traditional Chuck E.
Right.
Cheese with, neon lights, high tables where teens can come and have drinks and pizza. And that we
Right.
did. So it's constantly, how do we keep, creating a twinkle in a kid's eye?
Your memorable moments, when you look back at, from opening Chuck E. Cheese, you talk about your journey, your motherhood compass decided to make some career change. Looking back at your entire corporate entrepreneurship journey, what are the memorable moments?
Corporate was, first of all, incredible and fit for purpose at the time. I will never knock the corporate world. For all the women who are in corporate world for long careers, credit to all of you. You've stood the test of time in what is often a difficult environment to work in. The corporate world, working for a high-performing company like I did, taught me a lot. taught me performance management systems are extremely important, taught me that you never take a dollar for granted. It taught me you treat people with respect regardless of the level they're at. It taught me that you value your staff as much as you value your customer. Lots of incredible values I learned in the corporate world, which I transcended to the entrepreneurial world. The entrepreneurial world has, to me, some advantages that I wanted. I wanted to own my own calendar. I wanted to be able to manage my own time. I'm not saying work 4 hours a day. I'm saying work 12 hours a day if you still need, but work your 12 hours as, where, and when you want to work them. So if my kid has a school event, or he has sports day, or he needs to go to the dentist, I want to be able to have the option to say I want to take him. When you work in the corporate world, you are less in control of your calendar. The entrepreneurial world also allows, to me, a greater creativity. There are less controls. You know, let's do this. There's the ability to flex a lot more, which is what I really love. I am by nature a creative person. I want to create different things, new things, and that's what my new world has given me. Memorable moments, I would say, in Chuck E. Cheese. You know, having huge community events. We have these fantastic 5Ks where the children come out. Incredible to see.
You do things differently there. I want to ask about your STEM program as well, which I guess was another chapter of your energy career, kind of merging now into your entrepreneurship.
Oh, totally. And I would say that's probably one of the areas I'm most proud of. Because for a hydrocarbon producing country with very, very technical, entrepreneurial, creative people, unfortunately, the current school system, because of the SE exam, and I say that because my 3 boys went through the SE exam, there's not much room for STEM. There's not much room for problem solving. There's not much room for critical thinking. There's not much room for ideation. It's learn for the exam. We all know it. And I'm not knocking it. My boys did it. But it's a fact of life.
Knows it,
Secondary schools, you want your kids to go to good secondary schools, they have to do well in SE. What that does is remove...
Into the critical thinking part of it? Or even,
you know, kids aren't allowed to think as much as
even
they
leadership
should.
skills.
Leadership skills, problem solving skills, teamwork skills, analytical skills. I always used to say, you know, in my corporate world, we'd get all the, you know, all the resumes of top 200 SE, top A-level, President's Medal, top in university, and you bring them into the corporate world and you put them in a team, and teamwork is not there.
No.
So my STEM program is just amazing. Last year we educated over 7,000 kids in STEM by our field trip program. We now have a community project with NGC where we go into their communities, we teach their children STEM, and it is unbelievable to see an 11-year-old boy teach one of the NGC executives about an earthquake simulator and how he needs to build his house to prevent an earthquake damage in it. That's why I do what I do.
So we'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that transition a little more and some tips for young entrepreneurs and also motherhood. Believe it or not, Joanna has 3 boys, the oldest being 24. The different transitions in life that women face and how do you get fulfillment in each role and that elusive work-life balance.
The best birthday gifts are at thebesttoys.com. Shop for the best brands you love at the best prices. Like VTech, Leapfrog, Fisher-Price, Play-Doh, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Cocomelon, LOL, Baby Alive, Crayola, Lego, Nerf, and remote control vehicles, kids learning desks, and educational toys, ride-ons, bikes, drones, science toys, and board games and puzzles, and a wide range of baby items. We also have the best devices for school, like laptops, the Amazon Fire 7 tablet, the Amazon Fire 8, 10, and Kids Edition tabs, as well as cases and accessories.
Visit us in store at First Floor Movie Town Port of Spain, Forces Flagship Maspin, Eastgate Mall Trin City, M6 Plaza Endeavour, or shop online now at thebesttoys.com. We have the best toys at the best prices.
SNS Passat Supermarket comes to St. Mary's Freeport with the wide aisles of variety, quality you can trust, a community hub, and loyalty rewards. When I say they have everything, they have everything from your fresh produce, your wines and spirits, your butcher meat, seafood, bakery. You name it, they have it. And with these prices, trust me, you're guaranteed to save some money in your pocket. So come on down and shop today at the brand new SNS Passage Supermarket, St. Mary's Freeport.
We are continuing our conversation. She said so. Joanna Rostand, Yay Entertainment, from a thriving career in the energy sector to now controlling her own business and also her time. You know, when we took the break, I spoke about, you did mention motherhood. You spoke about your 3 boys and that decision to step away from your corporate identity. People say that women go through different phases of their life, and at different points in your career, you want different things. What do you want now?
Yeah, so it's, I don't even look at motherhood as the end all. I call it womanhood. Because at the end of the day, we women are a multitude of animals in one. We are career people, we are mothers, we are our own personal life, we are wives, we are sisters, we are daughters, we are granddaughters. And all of those take demands on your life that you want to be in, right? When my grandmother calls and says, I want a blue top for Saturday, I actually want to drop what I'm doing and take it to the mall, but I can't. Motherhood is, balancing careers and motherhood is work-life balance, the toughest thing in the world, right? But what, we all women have to remember is we can't be perfect at everything.
Do you
we
judge
can't
yourself?
be perfect at one thing.
Do you judge yourself? I ask that because a lot of women judge themselves.
Totally judge ourselves. We totally judge. Are we good at this? Are our children the best in swimming? Why did my child get to Milo games? How come, X...
That would be me for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
right? Because we are by nature competitive.
Yes.
But it's also a judgment of yourself, right? So apart from motherhood, apart from work, what drives you? For me, I'm a runner. I love to run. I love to run half marathons. I love to run marathons. I only got the opportunity to do that in my 40s when I decided that I want to make time for this. I didn't realize how important it was to me at the time before, but now I started to do it. It's wonderful. My camaraderie and my running girls is very important to me. So there's so many aspects of our lives that we have to keep all the balls in the air to create that work-life balance. And it's whatever your recipe is.
Yeah.
You might like to paint, or you might like to shop,
Yes.
whatever it is. It's keeping all the balls in the air that allows you your closest chance of work-life balance. And it'll never be perfect.
Joanna, did people ask you if you were a little crazy to leave your job?
Loads of people ask me.
Yeah. I mean, even now that we talk about it, we were talking in the makeup room, I thought, I don't know if I'm on the track for maybe one day becoming president of one of the biggest companies in Trinidad. Would I say, I'm not going to do this anymore?
Yeah. And sometimes I question myself.
I sit and think, I'm like, I don't know if I would be so self-sacrificing. But you did it for you, right?
I did it for me. And as my mom will always tell me, you play the cards you're dealt. It's your bed, you lay your bed, you lie in it. It's my decision. It was my decision at the time. It took me 4 years to get that decision, right? I loved my job.
Yeah.
I loved my career. I loved what I did. I
Do you
loved the
have any
people I worked
regrets?
with.
In anything?
I have regrets in that I'm not involved in the energy industry anymore, because it's the engine of this country. It creates the future of my children and my children's children. I was in it for 20 years. It's an incredible industry. I love it. But at the end of the day, it's a decision I made.
What advice do you have for women for finding their power, as in getting the strength to make the decision, whether that decision be go back to work at 8 to 4, work for a big company, jump out, take your money, go and do something, find some financing? What advice would you have for women to find their strength?
It's probably the best question we can ask here today, right? Because finding that strength is what gets you back on your path. I would say 2 things. Deep down, really deep down, figure out what you want. Secondly, find mentors in whatever they look like. A mentor does not have to be a chancellor of a university. It does not have to be the top executive man or woman. It does not have to be someone incredibly successful in their field. It just has to be someone in whose opinion you value. And I would say in my life, I have a number of mentors for
I was going to
different.
ask you that.
Mentors come in different shapes, right? In my family, I have mentors. My grandfather, before he died, he was the voice of reason, I would say, in most of my discussions with him. So mentors come in different shapes. Don't underestimate the value of those mentor connections with you and your decision and your own self-belief, because they either set you on a path, they build you back up, they get you back to where you should be, and they are invaluable. And by the way, mentors love being mentors because the human behavior of helping others is extremely strong in us. Trinidadians love to help each other. So I would say one of two things. Find yourself a network that supports and works for you, both emotionally, physically, logistically, everything, because, life is not easy. The second thing, the biggest thing I would say is learn to say no, which is a very hard thing for many of us to say because we all want to be in something.
We do.
We all want to be the top at it. We all want to ensure that what we're doing is the best. Learn to say no. It's all right to say no. Your girlfriends want to go on Friday night, but you have something to do. Learn to say no.
I have to remember that as well. As my final question to you, what are the words or the values that you think you treasure most in your life? What is your guiding light? Like some people say, I value this most about myself, or this is the principle that guides my life and my every action.
Okay, so I have a couple of them. I would say integrity. I would say humility. I think humility is probably the most powerful trait we can all hold. The ability to be humble is incredible. Transparency. Everybody who knows me will know I can't lie. I don't dress things up. But on the blanket of all of that is to be true to yourself. Years ago, when I was in the corporate world, BG sent me on this amazing executive training program. And it was not about an MBA.
You're right.
The premise of the program was, this is who you are today. We are going to break you down and we are going to build you back true to yourself. And I think that program is what launched my decision to leave. It was launched my decisions today. Be true to yourself. If you're fun at heart, be true to yourself. If you're serious and calculated, be true to yourself. Don't let anybody take away who you are.
Joanna, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your story. She says so, and she said quite a lot. The journeys, the tough decisions, finding strength, and how the family compass really guided her to where she is today. And also, check out that STEM program that she's telling you about. A lot of corporate entities should really take the model, support it, adopt it, but do similar. We'll continue our conversation. Stay tuned to CNC3. I'm Hema Ramkisoon again. Thank you so much.
She's taking control. She's gonna rise up. She's gonna make you know.
She Says So was brought to you by SNS Passad Supermarket and thebesttoys.com.